Mark Thompson's American dream began taking shape in the fall of 2024. After years of saving and meticulously researching every aspect, he was finally ready to buy his first electric vehicle, a black Tesla Model 3 RWD. As a software engineer, Seattle, Mark had always considered himself an early adopter of technology. But this would be his biggest technological purchase yet. "I've spent nearly a decade following the development of Tesla vehicles," Mark explained, as we completed the final paperwork at the Seattle Tesla Center in November 2024. "It's not a decision I made overnight. I visited the store 5 times, took 3 test drives, and spent countless hours watching review videos on YouTube before finally taking the plunge." The buying experience was remarkably different from his previous automobile purchases. Without the traditional pressure from commissioned salespeople, Mark appreciated the straightforward digital process. The vehicle delivery happened 2 weeks later, and he still clearly remembers the feeling of sitting in his own Tesla for the first time. "It's almost like unboxing a giant iPhone," he joked at the time. "Everything is minimalist and technology-focused. The Tesla specialist guided me through the basic functionalities, but I admit, I spent the first few nights in my condo parking lot, exploring all the settings and possibilities." The first weeks with his Model 3 were transformative. Mark marveled at the instant acceleration, the silence of the electric motor, and the autopilot technology. He charged the vehicle at home overnight and occasionally used Tesla superchargers during longer trips. His girlfriend, Sophia, initially skeptical about the investment, quickly became an enthusiast after experiencing the semi-autonomous driving during a weekend trip to Portland. "This car has completely changed my relationship with driving," Marky shared in a Tesla owners Facebook group in December. "It's not just about not needing gasoline anymore. It's about completely rethinking what an automobile can be." The presidential election of November 5, 2024, brought Donald Trump back to the White House, but Mark, like many Tesla owners, couldn't imagine how this would impact his experience as an electric vehicle owner. After Trump's inauguration on January 20, 2025, came the surprising announcement. Elon Musk, Tesla's CEO, would lead the new Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, in the Trump administration. That's when the atmosphere began to change rapidly. Mark noticed the first signs in February. Parked at a Seattle shopping center, he found a note on his windshield. "Like your fascist car?" At first, he considered it an isolated incident. A few days later, a coworker casually mentioned, "Must be complicated to have a Tesla now that Musk is cutting federal jobs, huh?" On January 29, 2025, just days after Trump's inauguration and the announcement of Musk's role in the government, news outlets began reporting isolated incidents of vandalism against Tesla facilities in Colorado. Lucy Grace Nelson, 42, was arrested after causing significant damage to a Tesla dealership, including spray painting Nazi under the entrance sign and starting small fires using Molotov cocktails in vodka bottles. "It's concerning, but it's happening. Specific areas where political tensions are high," Mark commented to Sophia, trying to downplay the situation. However, as February progressed, the incidents multiplied and came closer. On February 15th, a Tesla dealership in Dedham, Massachusetts had 3 vehicles vandalized, with damaged tires and spray paint applied to 2 Cybertrucks. On February 26th, 7 Tesla charging stations near Boston were intentionally set on fire during the night. On March 3rd, a charging station in South Carolina was targeted with homemade Molotov cocktails and graffitied political messages. Mark followed these news stories with growing apprehension. The attacks were no longer isolated incidents, but part of an organized movement called Tesla Takedown, a wave of anti-Tesla protests spreading across the country in response to Musk's role in the Trump administration and the thousands of federal job cuts since DOGE began operations in February. On March 8, 2025, Mark's worst nightmare became reality. After dining with Sophia at a restaurant in downtown Seattle, he returned to the parking lot to find his 4-month-old Model 3 completely vandalized. Red spray paint covered both sides with phrases like "fuck Musk" and "Doge on fascism." All four tires had been punctured, and someone had dragged a sharp object along the entire side, creating a deep scratch in the metallic paint. "I was paralyzed," Mark recalled, looking at the photos of the incident on his phone 3 days later. "I couldn't process that someone had deliberately done that to my car. It's just an electric vehicle, for God's sake. I bought it because I care about the environment and love technology." The police arrived quickly but offered little hope. "Unfortunately, it's the third case we've responded to just this week," the officer explained. "The parking lot security cameras don't cover that specific area, and the perpetrators know it. Mark's insurance would cover the damage, but with a $1,500 deductible. More painful than the financial impact was the sense of vulnerability and injustice. I didn't vote for Trump. I don't automatically support all of Elon Musk's decisions. I simply like the car his company built," he vented. On March 10th, while Mark's Model 3 was in the repair shop, the Tesla takedown protests gained even more momentum. Hundreds of protesters occupied a Tesla dealership in New York, resulting in 6 arrests. In Seattle, 4 Tesla vehicles were set on fire, requiring immediate firefighter intervention. Some owners dissatisfied with Musk attended protests with their own vehicles displaying anti-Elon Tesla Club stickers. President Trump announced he would classify violence against Tesla facilities as domestic terrorism, arguing that they are harming a great American company. Florida Attorney General Pam Bondi opened an investigation into cases of vandalism at Tesla dealerships. Meanwhile, Tesla's stock had plummeted nearly 48% since the beginning of 2025, partly due to the violence and protests, but also because of declining sales and the instability caused by Musk's new role in government. "I'm considering selling the car," Mark confessed to Sophia on March 14th, as they watched news about more Tesla vandalism in Linwood together. "I never imagined my vehicle choice would make me a target of political hatred." "Don't let them win," Sophia replied, squeezing his hand. "You worked hard to achieve this dream. This car represents everything you value: innovation, sustainability, forward thinking. Don't let anger directed at someone else steal that from you." The following day, March 15th, Mark finally picked up his Tesla from the repair shop. The vehicle looked new again, with no visible trace of vandalism, but something had changed profoundly. Before, parking the Model 3 in public was a source of quiet pride. Now, it was a source of constant anxiety. "I always activate Sentry mode now," Mark explained while configuring the vehicle's security system, which uses external cameras to monitor the surroundings when parked. "I've also installed an additional GPS tracker in case someone tries to steal the car. And I rarely park in public locations without surveillance." For Mark and thousands of other Americans who invested their savings and realized their dream of owning a Tesla, the situation created a painful dilemma: continue driving a vehicle they loved, but that made them potential targets, or give up their dream due to political conflicts in which they had no direct participation. The most ironic thing is that I bought this car primarily for environmental and technological reasons, not out of political affinity with Musk. Mark reflected as he cautiously drove home that March evening. "Now I'm judged and threatened for choices and associations he made months after I bought the car." The next morning, March 16th, 2025, Mark made a decision. Instead of hiding his Tesla in the garage or considering selling it, he decided to create a bumper sticker that read, "This car is about clean energy, not politics. Please respect an ordinary American's dream." As he drove to work that Sunday morning for an extra shift, Mark didn't know if the sticker would make any difference or just make him an even more visible target. But there was something liberating about reclaiming his narrative, about reminding everyone, including himself, that at the heart of the American dream was the freedom to make choices based on personal values, not fleeting political affiliations.